Hey, thanks for coming back and joining us again. I'm your host, Joshua Stevens.
And I'm Gabe.
And this is our guest,
Roberto Gallaeci.
Wow, I'm so glad he did that because I tried to pronounce it before we got started. There's no way that I'm butchering another name. I feel so bad after the Jefe episode that there's just no way I was butchering another name. So unless it's simple enough for me to do, from now on I'm just going to let the guests do their own little introduction. The guest we have today is a really good musician. He's a singer. He's been in multiple bands, and he's really been close friends with Gabriel for a long time. And I kind of plugged in later. So we're just going to get right to it. This is about you. This is the quote 15 minutes of let's let the crowd out there know who you are, what your craft is, how you got into it, and maybe we'll dissect and cut up and talk about some of the bands and experiences as you go.
Sure thing, man. Music started way back in the early 2007s. Discovered, 1997 to 2000. I was in Arlington, Texas, and I think that's my first dab as far as music goes, and singing acoustic sets with a small band in Arlington while I was graduating school. Wow, a lot of Pantera stuff.
Oh, wow. Right. So now,
acoustic Pantera, y'all.
So now, without saying his age, we all know how old he is. Great.
Yeah. So that really gave me the exposure of stage work and production and whatnot. And of course, I had to come back to Houston when my mother got sick, and so I was off for a little while. Then I met this guy named Armando Orta here in Houston, and long story short, here we are. 15, 17 years, 18 years later.
It's been a while.
Still hanging out with Neckpiece, NP. NP.
Okay. So with him saying Neckpiece, we mentioned it in an earlier episode. We were kind of joking, but we weren't. And I had said, like, you've made it when there's girls running around Houston with the name of your band tattooed on them. Right. So forget like a good record deal or any of this stuff.
Who needs
I actually
millions?
know women that have Neckpiece tattooed on them.
Yes.
that were such hardcore followers of Neckpiece that it's unreal. Like, you guys were like, even though you weren't mainstream, it's like in the punk sector here, you guys were like rock stars.
Dude,
you know what I mean? You guys had a really good following.
It was quite hard to fathom, man, and I know one specific girl, but I know that there's been several, and of course others that have been wearing shirts and whatever you want to call it.
They still have the shirt.
Definitely a lot of exposure, and I was quite shocked. I was surprised.
What is that like? When you first when you first get going and you realize that people are wearing shirts with your band on it that they paid for with their hard-earned money. They weren't like giveaways or here, check this out, you're a friend of the band.
They had to go to a show to
when you see someone you don't personally know, and you see them wearing like your shirt, like what's that make you feel like?
It's all mad respect. It's all mad respect, because if it wasn't for the fact that the crowd supports you and the fans support you and support your art and the music, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be, a recognized item in the business. Let alone that it's so hard to get into the music business on its own. When you get endorsements and when you get people to actually help pave the way or pay some of your gas money or pay some of your production stuff.
No matter how small.
No matter how small, you have to recognize and appreciate it and respect it, because other than that, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Today is different. You can get endorsements online, get your platforms out, get your things going, but still at the same time, you're not going old school like you would.
Right. And you know what? All this that we're talking about, Neckpiece, this is, I know Facebook came along, but I can remember, I almost hate to mention them, MySpace.
Oh,
but MySpace was like that first kicker that we were like getting into back when Neckpiece was playing. Like that was the first spot, and it was kind of like really good for musicians.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it kind of changed the game. Now I know these other social medias have too, but that was like the one that really like started it. And from what I remember back with Neck Piece, you know, we were talking before the cameras had come on about Walters on Westcott.
Yeah.
Was that the name of the club?
Right.
Like, it's a really small club. There's like hardly nowhere to park. And this was, I've been in the music scene for years with all these guys. And, you know, I've known Robert for a few years at that time too. And this was one of the first times that I was at a little club venue where Neck Piece was playing. And it was like everybody knew everybody.
Yeah.
You know, there was like one band that I didn't know, but I still knew the people that were following them. Everybody that went outside for cigarette breaks or hung out in the parking lot. You know, I mean, like, wow, the Texas music scene, but the Houston music scene, and so that one just stays with me. And it was one of the best shows I saw because the arena was small, and everybody that was there knew who Neck Piece was. And like, I'm standing around other people that are like singing your lyrics while you're singing them, you know. And I'm like, and we're not in a big arena or anything like that, but just being there and feeling that atmosphere, you know, I was like, man, I wish I could sing. I wish I was in a band.
Well, it's not only the camaraderie, man, that we have amongst each other as far as bands go, right?
Yeah.
Networks and whatnot.
Yeah, networks.
It's also the fact that we're all family.
Circle. It was a big circle, but you know, we all had our ties.
True. We've been in room 315, after my understanding, for almost 15, 17 years.
Okay, the other day when we had El Jefe on, and he has the music rooms that we talked about, and we were saying it's kind of like Francisco's.
Yeah, we referred to
right?
Francisco's.
Well, these guys have been at Francisco's for like, what do you say, 15 17
plus
years? Something
15
like that.
plus years, yeah.
And we talked about Dan the other night, and I was like, you know, that guy, like if you didn't have a place to jam and they weren't using their room, like Dan would be the first guy to say, hey, we're not using it Wednesday, come on by. You know what I mean? And he would let Koki have access and stuff, and you know, so that's the other day what we compared it to. And if you could tell them, explain to them like how big this building is, because I know we have people that are watching from all over. So explain Francisco's.
Francisco Studios, man, it's a historic building to start off with. It's a historic building that dates back to the early 1900s, all the way back. But the guy, which is Francisco, turned it into a band venue where all these bands can come in and practice in every single one room. I'm not sure if it was like 1985 or 1990, but it's been around forever, and almost every single band you can imagine has gone through that building and still goes through the building.
I'm reminded, when I look at it, it reminds me of like a college dormitory.
Right.
Because there's all these rooms, like college dormitory rooms, and then like one bathroom per floor or whatever, you know, where everyone's like community on it. But how many floors is there at Francisco's?
3 floors, man. 3 floors.
And it's located like, isn't didn't they build the soccer stadium?
Yeah, right across the street.
Dynamos, is it Houston Dynamos?
Yep. Exactly.
Then I know they built that like right there by it. So if you guys are looking for Francisco's and you're in the Houston area, just look for the big soccer dome, and you know, it's 2 blocks over, it's Francisco's.
Francisco's, and you got all these venues around now that have been built, and so you got a lot to do. Music you can jam to there at the studios. Everybody knows everyone, so you wouldn't be surprised if somebody comes and knocks at your door from second floor or the first floor. The fourth floor, well,
there is a 4th floor, but it's not usually
used much.
Because the people live there.
Exactly.
So they don't.
Art spot.
It's an art studio, if you will, and they do inhabit. They people move in, they live there, like a loft situation.
Right.
I will say that multiple people have had this negative experience at Francisco's. The one downfall of this place is there's no windows, really, and you're stuck off in these rooms, and the spot where you park, don't leave anything in your car that you don't want somebody hijacking.
That's right.
Because for some reason, every band has a story about, I shouldn't have left that in my car.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because
I should have left my car radio in my car.
Yeah.
To that point, everybody, I remember that a friend of mine was trying to get a room there, and he goes, "Man, the first impression that I received when I actually walked into the room, he goes, no windows around. This feels like a sanitarium, man. It feels like a crazy house, dude. I wouldn't be able to survive without windows." So he didn't get a room, but you know that's how you manage as a band. You know,
There were some crazy drunken nights where I got lost in that place, walking around in circles, and every room, every floor looks exactly the same. Every door looks the same.
I feel bad because I've never been drunk up there, and I still get lost like
dude,
that.
and there's no elevator.
And then and then people will be jamming up there, and they're like, "Hey, come up to our deal." And then when you go to get up there, like they're jamming, you're like beating on the door like forever, and you're saying,
We can't hear you.
"Hey, I'm here, I'm here."
We can't
You know,
hear
then eventually someone opens the door and shit, it's
They're
not
done.
even the right floor.
Right. Right.
Or they're done.
Right. Yeah. Oh, it's
You were out there the whole
Yeah.
time. Yeah, that one thing I loved about that place, like you said, there was a community, a camaraderie. You could get somebody from the first floor to come up and knock on your door, and sometimes they'd have the beer, you know.
Right,
But
exactly.
a lot of times they just want to come in, they want to hear what you're playing, and you know, you don't mind. Hey, come on in,
Sure.
take a seat. There's a beer.
Now-
Take a drink.
Now from neck piece, you know, we plan on having Dan on when we get a chance.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go too deep into neck piece.
Okay.
We'll let him do that. But you're here because you've got a new project.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so what is this? What are you doing now?
Sure thing. After a brief hiatus from Neckpiece in around 2017, 2018, we took some span time to spend more time with the families and get ourselves together. And of course, you know that 2019 and 20, this thing with COVID happened, and
Yeah.
it really split a lot of things.
That's where I put 100 pounds on. I treated it like it was a vacation, so I ate anything I wanted. I had no idea it was going to be a 2-year vacation.
I know.
No one told me COVID was going to be a 2-year thing.
And so a lot of things changed for a lot of bands. I mean, a lot of them fell off. A lot of them kept going. And the ones that didn't keep going took a hiatus, and we did that. And so I think it was around 2020, end of 2020, 21. I really felt like it was really killing me as far as music, and I needed to get back into the mic thing. So I started thinking about some of the songs that I had created, some songs that I had written with other people, and you know, that were donated at the same time, and I put together a playlist. And I went off and I started doing some recruiting, and found some guys that were interested. And
Okay, not some guys. This is the time. Who are the guys? What is the band's name? Get this. I'm in suspense because I don't know nothing since Neckpiece, man. I'm so out of the loop. I want to know what's the band name. What guys are playing for you?
Yeah. Well, the band's name is Avoid the Moon.
Avoid the moon.
Avoid the Moon.
At all costs, avoid the moon.
Avoid the Moon.
Okay.
A little brief story behind that. Have you ever watched American Werewolf in London?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So they tell the guys stay on the straight path
And avoid the moon.
and avoid the moon. So that was a mentality behind it. I had the support of another guy, which is JR Jose, our guitarist, our lead guitarist, Jose Rodolfo Ramirez. Larry Perez is on drums.
Okay. Nice.
On drums. He's been in the circuit
Yeah.
around different projects throughout many years. I've got Johnny Aguilar on bass, which
Good.
currently is with Darkness of Tomorrow, but helping us out on bass. And who knows, you know, we want him to stick around longer, but you know.
The thing about you musicians, sometimes one band's just not
Not
good enough.
enough, dude.
Yeah.
You come
You guys
on.
got this weird addiction.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, it's all panned out and it's stuck, you know, and the songs have really kicked in harder, and so now we've gotten an opportunity to really create more. We've had a showcase show, was like September of last year, which was just more on the down low at Scout Bar.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
It was okay.
Just on the down, guys. Scout Bar's a big place here. It's a big thing.
That's right.
To play the Scout Bar in Houston, like big acts come to town
And
and
play
play the
Scout
Scout
Bar.
Bar. So he's being a little modest.
We opened up for I think it was
You
James
think?
Rivera.
James Rivera.
James Rivera.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's a big name, right?
And
So tell me what kind of music are you playing? I know what
Right.
Neckpiece was, but what is this sound of this music, and where can our viewers go to hear some of this?
Sure. On Neckpiece, we thrive on 7-string pieces. You know, very
Heavy.
bottom end.
Yeah, very
type
heavy.
music, and
Dan's so heavy on
very
guitar,
harmonic.
guys.
Oh yeah. And so I wanted to keep the elements of that bottom end heaviness and also create more melodic, more transient, more, I would say, Deftone-ish type of deal.
Oh, sweet.
Gojira type of sounds in the background.
Wow. All
And
right.
so that's where we're focused on now. And not only just the fact that we want to establish ourselves within the post-progressive metal scene, but yeah, to me, Gojira is one of the biggest, influences, and so
They've been around a while now.
yeah,
They used to be a new
and
band.
how they went from their metal core, metal
Right.
deep end to now with a little bit more of a mainstream
Yeah.
side.
They got a little melody to them now.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we want to keep it at now. So the sound is fairly radio friendly, but at the same time deep and heavy enough for metal fans to really enjoy.
So,
Great.
so do you have any upcoming shows that are ready to go? Is there a, I don't know, like a website or maybe a Facebook? Do you guys have some sort of social media? Our producer is really good, the Short Wizard. She's gonna get all this info. Like I always say this, she's gonna get the info and she's gonna put it on screen. But go ahead and let everybody know where they can hear your stuff or find out where you're playing next.
Sure thing. Our next show is going to be March 25th, which is upcoming around, let's say maybe a week or two, next weekend.
next
matter of
weekend.
fact. The 25th at BFE Rock Club with Frank Auluto out there in the
Nice.
1960 and
All right.
West,
We were there last weekend.
West Side.
Yes, we were.
Exactly. So that's going to be Lunacy and Carnage is the title of the actual show. Lunacy and Carnage.
Lunacy and Carnage.
Avoid the Moon, Amaya with Louis and Charlie Cuevas. Guerreros del Fuego, which were Serpientes de Fuego before. Let's see, who else? We've got, Crucified Witch is one of my favorites. Crucified Witch. And the best from New Mexico, Res Nation. Navajo guys coming down from New Mexico.
Wow.
Narbona.
Wow.
Traveling almost 300 and something, 400 miles down to Texas to play
All
for
right,
the
I'll
Texas.
check it
Wow.
Wow. Depending on how much time our editor gets with this, I don't think it'll be available before next weekend, but it will at least drop by next weekend.
Okay.
So it just depends on how long we run on and how many times I screw up and she's got to delete bad stuff I said that is incorrect or what I shouldn't have said, Once she gets past all that, so the less I screw up,
Right.
the less I talk, the easier it is for her. All right, guys. So you've heard it. That's the kind of music that he's playing now. You know that next weekend, which when you guys are seeing this, it'll be probably the weekend you're seeing this. But we'll put his social media stuff up so that you can go find where he's at and what he's doing. And by all means, even though we're not spotlighting Neckpiece, we're spotlighting Rob and his new project.
Avoid the Moon.
Avoid the Moon. Neckpiece still has some stuff out there, and if you guys get a chance to check out any of that, we totally loved all that heavy sound, and I
good
can't
stuff.
wait to hear this new stuff.
I'm glad you mentioned that. We're still creating music with Neckpiece. It's not like it's gone.
Well, a little birdie told me a while ago
Yeah.
that there was like this reunion thing happening,
Yes.
and that you guys were going to be doing something.
Yes.
But I've been told that kind of junk before, and then I'm so disappointed because it doesn't happen.
You'll be the first to get the first invite.
I hope
Man.
so, because we wait for those things, and then it's like, hey guys, it's been 8 months. What's up? Oh, we decided, we were just gonna dissolve, and it's like, oh man, you guys had our hopes built up,
Yeah, no, it's coming. It's coming within the next few weeks. We're planning
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for joining us
You got it,
here,
bro.
and man, I really appreciate it that you came and got to tell us about this new project. Because really, Neckpiece I knew, this I didn't.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week with someone else sitting in the hot seat. It won't be Rob, but it'll be somebody. So thanks for joining us. I'm Joshua. This is
Gabriel Gonzalez.
and this was.
Roberto Gallaeci.
Thank God I didn't have to say that. We're out of here. We'll see you next time.
Have
Thanks,
a good one.
guys.